Hey guys, welcome back to Paneer and Pancakes, the podcast where I, Vaaruni Joshi, an Indian teen in the USA, share the highs and lows of high school life and dual cultures. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's dive right in. So today's episode is all about Diwali. So first of all, happy Diwali. Diwali has always been so much fun for me. I love Diwali because it's always been like a way to connect with my culture. Because as many Indians as you're surrounded with, the reality is that sometimes you do feel a little disconnected. So Diwali has always been a link, a reminder in case I forget, which I don't. But when I was younger, sometimes it's easier to forget, I guess. But the truth is, like Diwali, it's so complex for me because of this blended culture that we live in. And I guess the real reason I would say, or a big reason at least, is because we don't get school off for Diwali. Not where I live, at least. I know there's some places around the US that do give off for Diwali, but I've never had school off. I think you can have like an excused absence or something because it's technically a religious festival, but I don't really know anyone who does that. I know one or two people maybe who don't go to school on Diwali, but like most people do because I mean, you just can't afford to skip, which is so different from my parents' Diwalis growing up, my grandparents' Diwalis, because everyone had school off. And you don't have to do the kind of mind wrestling that we have to do, which is what I'm going to get into because the chances that Diwali is on a weekday are so high. So I have always gone to school on Diwali. And it's so weird because it doesn't feel like you're celebrating when you're taking a test, right? So, like, I guess from some aspect, it kind of ruins the festive mood, right? Even though you're surrounded by Indians and everyone knows it's Diwali, who wants to take a test, right? And I guess that's the reality of being an Indian in American high school, even though my school is probably 45% Indian. And the thing is, everyone celebrates differently. Like, some people dress traditionally and some don't. Like, I have no memory of dressing up for Diwali ever at school because I never did because it felt so out of place. It's like a crossover episode or something, but it's just so crazy. Like, to ask yourself, like, should I dress up and celebrate at school or should I just wear sweats? Because practically, like, to take tests in uncomfortable clothing is not ideal, or neither to skip school, but that's just the point. Like, you think, is it really worth it? Because it's just Diwali. And I hate that wording and I hate having to say that because it's such a big deal, Diwali. Like, it's a huge festival, but that's just our normal. And those thought processes are so real for me and for so many other people, which is so crazy to think that we actually have to think about making those decisions. God, I can't talk. Like, and then this year, Diwali is on Halloween, so it's literally the craziest, most epic crossover episode ever. And I have a test that day, and I definitely can't skip. It's 9 pages. It's completely written. That's a whole nother saga. But I don't really know whether I'm gonna like dress up traditionally. I never have. I wouldn't mind doing it, but it just doesn't. It doesn't feel practical. I don't want to have to write a 9-page written test and then also be like uncomfortable. I'd rather be in sweats. But then it's like such a big festival. Like, I feel like I should be celebrating. And I've talked about this before, but it's just the line. Like, I don't know where to put the line between the two cultures. Not even cultures. I just don't know where to put the line on the duality of my life. It's like living a double life, but then it's not really because it's just a blending of two cultures. It shouldn't be that hard. And I guess it isn't because I'm so used to it now. And it's so hard to describe the feeling if you're not living it, but I'm trying my best right now. Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't even feel like Diwali starts until you get home, or like I guess until the last bell rings or something. And I don't even know if that's normal to feel that way, like to have such a mesh of two cultures, because it feels normal because I've been doing it my whole life. And even if it isn't normal, it's just my life, I just have to deal with it. But it's also so fun to celebrate at school. Like, I know I feel like I just spent an hour talking about how weird it is, but there's always two sides of a coin, right? And there's such a great sense of community when you go to school in Diwali. Like, everyone knows, everyone like feels it in the air. And like, even though you're going to school, even though you're taking tests, like, it's Diwali and you know it. And it's so much fun to go and like talk to your friends and be like, oh, happy Diwali, at the beginning and end of like every conversation. And then it feels like it's like one of those rare occasions where it's not just like this clique of friends and this clique of friends and like this big friend group of friends. friend group of friends. That's kind of redundant. Yeah, but it's like everyone's celebrating. And I guess that's kind of the point. But it really like hones into the point of like, no, this isn't like a weird mesh of cultures. This is perfectly normal. And then it just brings out that like, again, duality of our lives, because for weeks and months on end, there are people who I wouldn't even talk to because we're not in the same friend group and we just don't talk. But then it's Diwali, so happy Diwali, because it doesn't matter anymore. So yeah, there's so many aspects of living this weird, crazy dual cultures like lifestyle, but where things are changing like every day, and every day is different because that's just the way your life is. And it's like sharing two parts of your life and having a blend on them. But especially on days like Diwali, sometimes it feels so apparent. Like it feels like you're highlighting it with one of those like fat like highlighters that are like three shades of neon, not three shades of neon, like neon cubed. Those highlighters are so bright. Anyway, point is, sometimes it's so apparent on Diwali, like truly how weirdly shaped our lives are, but it's so natural and normal for us because it's our reality. This is just what it is. I mean, I've been doing like that's what it's just been like for what, like 3/4 of my life. But I am so excited for Diwali this year. I know I kind of already said this, but I'm so excited. I love Diwali. It's not even funny. So thanks for listening to today's episode of Paneer and Pancakes, where we explore the unique journey of a dual culture teen. Don't forget to subscribe and review us on Spotify and YouTube, and follow us on Instagram for updates and more content. Thanks for tuning in today, and I will catch you in the next episode. Happy Diwali!